Hi guys and welcome. I'm here with David Shephard and we're here to talk about the Personal Empowerment Breakthrough Intensive. Now, David, you've got a history of rolling out unusual and groundbreaking courses, but this is probably the furthest that you've chucked the rock yet, I think.
Yeah, most definitely.
Would you like to tell us a little about what the Personal Empowerment Breakthrough Intensive is all about?
Yeah, it's a real integration of everything that I've learned over the last, 30 years. So it integrates NLP, integrates hypnosis, integrates timeline therapy, mental emotional release, integrates Huna, but then going even further than that, in that it also involves astrology, it involves numerology, it involves the tarot, it involves Claire Graves' values levels. It's like the works.
Yeah.
I describe it as an experience rather than a seminar and a training because that's what it is. It's the ultimate personal development, personal improvement, personal transformation experience over 7 days.
And also you develop this with a very specific aim in mind, with like a very specific group of people in mind. So who are those people?
The people who come that it's designed for are people who've already done a probably considerable amount of personal development and personal improvement, personal transformation already. Mm-hmm. In that, my personal experience was that when I first got into particularly NLP and timeline therapy, mental emotional release and Huna, I went on a real steep trajectory of personal transformation and results in my life, real steep, and that's exciting, but then, even though I was still using all those techniques, still doing all of the stuff, I kind of plateaued.
Yeah.
And I realized that no matter what I did, I just didn't seem to be able to break that plateau or break that kind of, if you want, a glass ceiling, if you like. And I thought, well, how can that be? And what I realized was a limitation of every single personal transformation technique, whether it be NLP, whether it be hypnosis, whether it be timeline therapy, whether it be mental emotional release, whether it be Huna or anything else, is you can only use those transformational techniques when you know what the presenting problem is.
Yes.
You can't work on stuff that you don't know you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a little bit like the iceberg thing. When you first get into personal development, you've got the top of the iceberg. I've got these negative emotions around these particular events. I've got this limiting beliefs or whatever, these conflicts. And so, you can use the techniques on those and they're quick, which is what gets you on that steep curve. But then there's still all this stuff underneath the surface, but because it's underneath the surface and you don't know what it is, then you can't work on it.
It's like Einstein said, you can't solve a problem at the level of thinking at which you encounter it.
No, exactly. So, if I get a group of people in a room and I say, okay, so how many people here are aware that there's something inside of you that prevents you from truly being who you want to be, truly doing what you want to do, and truly having what you want to have, but you have no clue what it is? Everybody puts their hand up.
Yeah.
So the Personal Empowerment Breakthrough Intensive is designed to enable you to discover what's below the surface so that then you can work on it and resolve it, get you back on that steep trajectory again, and keep you there.
And I guess one of the reasons why you've got such a range of interesting techniques from the scientific to the spiritual is because each one of those provides like a different camera angle.
Yeah.
And together they'll, what Stephen Covey would have termed a paradigm shift, which is where you suddenly have a new understanding of kind of like who you are, where you're coming from, and you're then able to isolate, as you say, what was previously unknown, bring it forward into the light. And once like the spiritual side of things has brought something into the light, you can then say, right, and now I take out my scientific tools, because now we've got something that we know how to work with.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, traditionally, because of the Einstein thing that you're talking about, is you would need to have gone to work with a coach or a therapist or whatever it may be, because they are on a different logical level than you, can ask you the questions that you can't ask yourself to enable you to discover, what it is to work on, which in of itself is a limitation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So by combining all of these things together, it enables you to move beyond needing a coach, beyond needing a therapist, to enable you to discover what's inside of you.
Yes.
Which then you can work on by yourself. So it makes you it makes you truly empowered. Because if you think about it, I need a coach, I need a therapist. Well, that's not empowered.
Yeah.
Because you're going, I need somebody else to get me to where I want to get to. Whereas truly empowered is, you can do it on your own.
I mean, because you're a very practical person, you're an engineer, and you have definitely a reputation of applying the principles of stuff to actually get results. Hence, kind of back in the day, in terms of applying NLP to presenting magically well, like the first and the biggest courses. So I guess the point with this is the fact, what makes this different from just being aware of all of these different disciplines, like tarot, Huna, astrology, numerology, is the fact that there's the guys who are going on this with you are spending time harnessing your knowledge and your ability to help them get to that breakthrough in a very, very intimate setting.
Yeah. It is limited to just 7 people.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it only being 7 people, is because of the amount of personal time that each of those people will get with me to enable them to get the result that I intended with the program. When I first started doing the program, I thought maybe we can do somewhere between 10, maybe even 12, 13 people. And we launched it, and I started, obviously we didn't get that number of people at first, and the numbers gradually increased as people became more aware of what we were doing with the program. And what I came to the conclusion from experience that the most I could actually handle in the room was 7.
Yes.
Because of that intimate setting. So, does that mean it's an exclusive program? Yeah, it is an exclusive program because it's just 7 people, but it's not exclusive just for exclusivity's sake.
Yes.
It's actually from a very tangible, practical reason, is that, I've got an outcome as to where I want to be able to get people to at the end of the 7 days. And that required a lot of my personal attention with people. So people get at least 3, if not 4, one-to-ones with me over the space of the 7 days.
Yeah.
Where I design personal tasking for people. So you were doing personal work, but I'm there the entire time. So, then if somebody in the room, if I'm not with anybody else, I'm at the front of the room, somebody goes like, okay, I think I'm starting to get close to my breakthrough, my aha moment, but I'm not quite sure, then, they can come sit down with me and I'll ask them questions. Or, they go, boom, I've discovered what it is, what this thing that was underneath the surface is.
Yes.
It's come up, but I don't know how to get rid of it. Great. So then you can come and sit with me, and we can use NLP, we can use timeline therapy, mental emotional release, whatever, to enable them to resolve it and get to the next level.
And I think because one of the things you said earlier on was really important is the fact that it is an experience, it's not a training. They're not going out there to learn tarot or learn astrology, they're basically going out there to use these tools with your input to make a tremendous change to their potential.
Yeah, absolutely. Though in having that experience, they will learn about numerology, tarot, and astrology. But it's those things in a very different way.
Yeah.
In that traditionally you'd go on an astrology course or go and see an astrologer, or you'd go on a numerology course or go and see a numerologist or whatever it may be, or you'd go and see somebody to read your tarot cards, and what I started to realize was, in actual fact, a little bit like you said earlier, is that numerology, tarot, astrology are actually different camera angles, if you like, on the same thing. So to learn or use each of those 3 things in isolation is actually to miss the point.
Yes.
So, because my experience, I got frustrated, I wanted to see an astrologer, I wanted to get my natal chart read. And you go and see the astrologer and they cast your natal chart and then you go like, I'd stay single if I was you this lifetime. And you go, what do you mean? Well, looking at your chart, relationships are always going to be a major struggle for you. And you go, but I don't want to be single. I want to be in a relationship with somebody. And they go like, well, can't change the time of your birth, can you? So I'd spent all this time and all this money getting myself to cause in my life. I go and see an astrologer and suddenly I'm affected the time of my birth. Like, what do you do? Suddenly I'm disempowered. Astrology has disempowered me.
Yes.
But then, because there's taught as being a very static thing. But when you start looking at these things in combination, you actually start to realize it's a dynamic system. It's something that you can work with. So, if there are situations in your natal chart around relationships or about money needs and resources or problems with family or whatever it may be, then what the people will learn on Personal Empowerment Breakthrough Intensive is a dynamic system to actually change that, to change the, if you like, to change the projections and literally, it sounds a bit of a grandiose claim, but literally to change the structure of your universe.
Yes.
That's all we do in that week.
Just a minor alteration to everything that you know and can perceive.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, because it's taking place in Malta, and I think the first one is pretty much sold out. It's sold out almost straight away, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. I mean, there are some people that just bought it straight off the page.
Yeah.
Either because they know me or they've got this stuff and they're like, whoa, that's for me.
Yes.
But then there are other people that then, booked a consultation call with either me or one of my team because they thought, something in that, but I'm not quite sure what it is.
Yes.
So yeah, we're about sold out on this one we've got coming up in May or whatever.
So somebody did want to come along because I think, as you said, it's in terms of having a personal consultation because the whole crux of this thing and the reason why there is a P in it because it is very personal.
Yeah,
this is not like a one size fits all. This is not like a mass thing. This is it's all about the individual and cater to their individual needs.
And also, because it is so eclectic, because it is so esoteric, it's also not for everybody.
Yeah.
You've got to be very, very, very open-minded and willing to do anything to get the result that you want. So people will be definitely stepping outside of the box on the Personal Empowerment Breakthrough Intensive.
As they say, sometimes to do extraordinary things, to get extraordinary results, you have to do extraordinary things.
Yeah, and a lot of people who come and do the Personal Empowerment Breakthrough Intensive have done a lot of stuff with me before, and my intention on every single program that I do is to essentially blow people's minds. But when they come on the Personal Empowerment Breakthrough Intensive, they go, okay, my mind was not blown.
Yes.
I thought it was, but now this has gone way beyond wherever I thought it would possibly go. So, you've got to be up for that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you very much indeed, David. So if you'd like to join David on this adventure of a lifetime, then get in touch and have a personal consultation to see exactly how this can work for you. David, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.